We're just about to get started, so it's not an opportunity to grab a drink and a seat, please. This way as well. Come down to that corner.
Can you hear me okay, Cheryl?
So we have
I want to know how to do this. Give me some hints. Show me some places to do some research tool. Yes.
I don't know why I tapped it. It's not. I just turned the thing up. Come on, guys.
That's
well, I guess there's a unit test.
That's in the first part, yeah.
Then it goes to integration. Want to get started? You want?
Hi, welcome to
Nice.
audio. Can I turn the volume down a little bit?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. I'm going to turn the volume down here a little bit. All right, so welcome to Cloud Native London. Thank you everybody for showing up to the correct venue. So just so you know, usually we are hosted by Just Eat. They have
I think this is to the Zoom.
Okay.
Is this a better?
No, it's tough in here.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, so their office flooded, they're out of commission for a couple of months. So we're going to be rotating different offices from lovely people who will host us until probably February 2026. Hello.
I don't turn this off.
This one?
How's that?
Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. That's
It's better. There you go. There's somebody who knows some technique here.
It's on prem, that's why.
Sam, you want to do your housekeeping?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Happy to host Cloud Native. So today, you are here in this flow. You're not expecting any drill on fire alarm. If there's a fire alarm, it's a fire alarm, right? So you need to use stairs. To get into the stairs, you need to use the green man over there, right? Go inside. There's a stairs. You need to go down. In front of Fenchurch station is our gathering point, right, in case. And you have the ladies' toilet here in this side. Gents on other side. You have to go other side on, right? So that's a basic thing. And happy to host you guys. And it's an amazing set of people here. So I'll just say maybe a line on eSynergy, who we are, what we do. We are a tech consulting firm, predominantly focusing on cloud AI and data. And we work across public services, banks, and insurance. That's pretty much we, right? So I head AI for eSynergy. My name is Prasad, and we do have some of our champions. We have got Andy Bowl. He head our cloud and data. We have got Chung. He's our head of architecture. We've got Will and Anito, who's our AI champions. Right. So we are hiring. If you guys are switching jobs or you want to talk about it or any of these, catch one of us. We will facilitate you with the right kind of talent people in the organization. Right. Enjoy the evening. Have fun. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
So we are a strong, open, diverse developer community dedicated to cloud, data, and AI based in London. My name is Cheryl Hung. I'm your host for the evening. Tonight we've got 3 talks. So the first talk is Auth build versus open source versus buy, which is going to be given by Mark. He's joining us remotely. Then we have container live migration, moving workloads without downtime from Kunal. Then we're going to take a 15-minute break, come back at 8 o'clock for our third talk, from manual ops to self-service, building cloud infrastructure orchestration at scale from RAM. At 8:30, we're going to wrap up here and go downstairs to the Windsor pub, which is just outside, and continue chatting and having drinks. Our sponsors for tonight. So first of all, Brad is going to do a shout out for Tech Chat. Come over, Brad.
Hello, lovely to meet you. My name's Brad. I am the founder of a company called Tech Chat Recruitment. So we specialise in data, AI, and cloud. So if you're relevant to you all here, probably wondering why I'm speaking. I'm sponsoring the event tonight to allow events like that to happen. Also give back to the community. So if you want to chat about roles and what's going on in the market, feel free to come and grab me. And then, I'm the Rupture Publish speaking, so it's just all from me. So come and grab me if you want to chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brad. Okay, Test Cube are not here tonight, I believe, but I'm going to give them a little shout out. So Test Cube delivers cloud-native continuous testing that scales with your team and keeps up with AI-driven release velocity. Last is Cast AI. Kunal, you want to come up and say a couple words?
Yep. Hello, I'm Kunal. I work at Cast AI. We do cloud automation, so improving your infrastructure, reducing your cloud costs by 50 to 60%, if you're using the big hyperscalers. And that's me.
All right, I want to say thank you very much to all our sponsors for making tonight happen. And now a little bit about you. So please grab your phone and you can scan this QR code to go to this live polling. You don't need to download anything. I'm going to ask a couple of questions about you and a couple of questions about how you use different kinds of cloud native and other tech. So there's still the QR code. Oh no, it's right behind this. It's right behind here. Okay, let me go back for a moment. Nobody caught it. So the question was, is this your first time at Cloud Native London? And then you should be able to see yes or no. And then you just select yes or no. So sorry, the QR code is right behind us here. Okay, looks like people are figuring it out. So we have 58% no, 40, couple of yeses trickling in. We might hit 50-50. We're also live streaming to YouTube and to LinkedIn as well. So there'll be people watching from home. I think this is almost settled, almost 50-50. What is your job title? Your options are architect, application developer, backend developer, engineering manager, DevOps/platform engineer, security engineer, or anything else. You can just pick whatever's closest to what you do. Looks like the others are putting it ahead here. Sorry, I missed that.
No security.
No security.
Because then the last people that you engage, right?
All right. Got yeah, okay, no security, but fairly even split across the others. Okay. Next question. How many developers choose to write their own auth? You think it's 13%, 38%, 67%, 92%, or you have to be insane to write your own auth? Give people a moment to consider this. Looks like 40-something% are thinking that it's insane to write your own auth. Okay, we have Mark on the line. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Unmute?
Can you hear me and see me?
You might need to see them.
Yeah, oh, yeah, this has the volume back on. Okay, someone got the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure that works.
What's the difference?
I need to set up the volume, sorry.
Just press it, just press.
Hello?
Okay, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. So,
Okay,
so what's the right question? Right answer here?
yeah, so much to our surprise, when we did the survey, we found out that 67% built their own auth, which was pretty surprising. Then of that 67%, about 33% used third-party auth server or libraries. But the most concerning thing was that of that 67%, 77 of those 67% reported that they had less, the people that were working on auth were not specialists in authentication or identity. So that was a little surprising to us.
Wow, yeah, 67% is definitely higher than most people here would have thought. But hopefully we'll learn a little bit from you about why you shouldn't be doing that. Okay, thank you.
Sounds good.
We're going to go next question now. How do you usually handle node maintenance or spot interruptions today? Manual draining, automation scripts, rely on the cloud provider, haven't really solved it yet. Let's see. Take a moment. Pretty strong showing from automation and relying on the cloud provider. And for the people saying manually drained, this question, I think this one comes from Ram. Oh no, it comes from Kunal. So Kunal, is this what you expected? When pretty much, yes. Yep. Okay, I'm interested to hear how this relates to your talking a little bit. And then I think we have one more, which is also Kunal. So when a spot node is about to be reclaimed, what usually happens in your cluster? The workload gets evicted and restarts elsewhere. We lose it, we pray it comes back fast. We've automated the migration process, or honestly not sure, the cluster just handles it.
Or you don't buy spot nodes.
Or possibly you don't buy it. So 60% say it gets evicted and restarted elsewhere. Handful of people saying lose it and pray. So is this surprising to you now, or why is this surprising?
No, I said it makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. Okay, fair enough. So not surprising. This is what you expected. Okay. I think we have one more question. Yes. When starting a new project, how long does it take your development infrastructure and CI/CD pipeline get ready before developers can even begin coding? You have under 1 hour, same day, 2 to 5 days, 1 to 2 weeks with lots of manual provisioning, or 2+ weeks. And it's like we have most people within a couple of days. So where's oh yeah. Okay, well, what do you consider a good answer here? What's your
My product perspective, the bottom 3 would be the good answer. But yes, same day is what I think, it's some manual steps people are doing.
okay? So actually, then it's quite positive that a lot of Yeah, people have automated down to under 1 hour. That's good. Excellent. Okay, thank you for taking part in the live polling. Keep this open on your phones because we're going to do Q&A with the presenters through this as well. Okay, I need a selfie for social media. I'm going to do this. I don't even know. We're going to do this from the very corner. Yeah. Okay, so might be the next video. Everyone's a big wave smile. You get the new bite in the You should be the most enthusiastic. Yeah. Okay, and if you want to come up here and speak, we have speaking slots available for next year, or you can also sponsor us, pay for some of the pizza, and promote your own events. Just go to cloudnativelondon.com. And that is it for me. So I'm going to hand over now to Mark. And Mark, over to you.
Hello. Not sure if you can see my video or not, if that's worth sharing or not.
We can see the video.
Okay. All right. In theory, I've shared my screen with you. Please let me know if you can see it.
Yeah.
We all good?
Yes.
Okay. So let's face it. Nobody, except for maybe our CTO at FusionAuth, wakes up in the morning excited to build an authentication system. It's a lot like getting pumped to install a lock on your front door. Not exactly thrilling, but critical for protecting you and your family, or in this case, your customers. In addition to that, logging into your application can be your user's first interaction with it. It needs to be seamless, secure, and scalable. There are basically 3 approaches to this problem. You can build it, you can buy it, or you can use an open source solution. My name is Mark Robustelli. I've been a developer for over 25 years, most recently the last 2 here at FusionAuth as a developer relations engineer. Loving helping developers develop. I love when I can help them reduce the overhead of development so they can focus on the things that are important to them and give them a competitive advantage. And just to give you some fodder, I'll hang around afterwards if you want to talk. I got a couple big dogs, the biggest of which you can see here is about 165 pounds. And I'm from the States. And I recently moved from the Midwest to the beautiful desert of Arizona. So if you're interested, hit me up after and we can chat about it. All right. So is anyone going to use your application just because you have an amazing login experience? Probably not. However, authentication is one of the most critical components of any system. Whether it's an app, a website, or an API, ensuring that the right users can access the right resources is at the core of digital security. Data breaches, unauthorized access, and privacy violations are just some of the costly consequences of a weak or flawed authentication system. A solid authentication strategy is crucial for protecting user data and safeguarding your organization's reputation. How costly are the breaches? $100 billion. Not quite, but on global average, they estimate a security breach costs about 3.8 million euro. Right? So the question isn't if you need authentication, it's how you should implement it. Should you build a solution tailored to your business, buy a pre-built or trusted system, or adopt an open source framework that provides flexibility but can require effort to maintain? So building your own authentication system gives you complete control over design and functionality, right? You can tailor the system precisely to your needs, but it also means that you're responsible for development, security, and ongoing maintenance. It's time-consuming and costly path. Purchasing authentication, on the other hand, offers a ready-to-use solution backed by security experts. It's fast to implement, scalable, and reliable. You don't have to worry about every minor detail. Security patches, updates, compliance features are all taken care of for you, right? This might come with a price of your development team to having to pick up another tool, but they're often easy to implement. Lastly, open source authentication solutions give you flexibility and cost effectiveness with no licensing fees, right? The trade-off here is that you get a jump start, but you still need internal resources to maintain, integrate, and ensure the security of the system. So let's start with the build option. Building your own authentication system gives you complete control over every aspect, right? It's like cooking your own meal. Everything's seasoned perfectly to your taste, and it's exactly how you want it. You control the user experience, the workflows, and the security mechanisms. But let's be honest, it's not easy, right? There are a lot of moving parts. Password management, multi-factor authentication, session handling, encryption, and more. You'll need to keep up with security best practices, stay on top of compliance regulations, and ensure that your system scales smoothly as you grow. Plus, it doesn't stop after the initial build. Right? Just like you can't stop maintaining a house after it's built, your custom authentication system requires ongoing maintenance. You'll need to continuously patch vulnerabilities, improve security protocols, and update features. All that takes time, effort, and specialized expertise. In short, while building your own authentication gives you ultimate control, it also comes with significant long-term commitment in terms of development and maintenance. Now let's talk about the second option, purchasing your authentication solution. Think of it like ordering from a reliable restaurant. Right? You're not spending hours in the kitchen trying to make the perfect dish. You don't have to worry about messing up the recipe because professionals are handling it for you. When you buy authentication, you get a ready-made, secure, and scalable solution maintained by experts whose sole focus is security. This is particularly important when you think about the complexity of modern authentication requirements. Again, things like multi-factor authentication, single sign-on, and passwordless logins. They aren't easy things to just whip up yourself. Some systems available for purchase feature enterprise-level security features with the flexibility that developers need. You can integrate it with your existing infrastructure quickly, customize it to your business requirements, and trust that security patches, compliance updates, and feature enhancements are all handled by a dedicated team. It's like getting the best meal without needing to cook, clean, or worry about whether it's safe to eat. In the long run, you save time, reduce your risk of vulnerabilities, and avoid the headache of maintaining a complex authentication system. And best of all, it grows with your business. Right? These solutions can scale with your needs, ensuring you're covered as your user base expands. Finally, we'll talk about the third option, using open source authentication. It's a lot like joining a community potluck. If you don't know what a potluck is, it's where everyone in the neighborhood brings their own dish to a gathering and you all share the same food. It's great. You get access to a lot of great recipes and it's free to use. Plus, the open source community has built a lot of powerful, flexible authentication frameworks. Things like OAuth and OpenID Connect are widely used and trusted. With open source, you have the flexibility to modify the system however you want. You can customize the features that suit your exact needs. That's a huge advantage, especially if your requirements are unique or if you're already familiar with these systems. But open source isn't without its challenges. While the initial cost is low, there's still a need for internal expertise to manage, secure, and maintain it. And just like a potluck, if someone forgets to bring the main course, in this case, like an important security update, you're left scrambling to patch things up yourself. In addition to that, when something goes wrong, you can't rely on a dedicated support team to help you out. You'll need to rely on the community or your own developers to solve the problems. This can be a huge bottleneck if you don't have the right resources. All right, so when deciding between building, buying, or using open source authentication, one of the key factors is cost. So let's break it down. Building your own authentication system can seem like a good idea initially, but the upfront development cost is high. You'll need to invest in experienced developers, architects, and security experts. On top of that, maintenance and scaling costs can keep growing over time. You're responsible for every update, patch, and improvement, right? This can quickly turn into a full-time job or jobs. So let's do a little conservative back of the napkin type math, right? You need 2 or 3 engineers at about 130,000 euro, security expert about 175,000, and you're looking for 6 to 12 months to implement. So just for the initial development, you're looking at 300 to 700,000 euro. And then there's ongoing costs. You need 1 or 2 engineers, there's security audits, compliance costs, and hosting. So depending on how you set it up, that's an additional 85 to 400,000 euro. So overall, at a 5-year cost, you're looking between 800,000 and 2 million euro. Now, buying a solution typically operates on a subscription model, which means predictable, ongoing costs. You pay for what you use. And when there's usually a price tag associated with it, you're also buying peace of mind. The maintenance, security updates, and scaling are all handled for you, so you don't need to invest heavily in internal resources. Now, open source authentication can often look like the most cost-effective solution because there's no licensing fees. But remember, nothing comes for free, right? It's free as in beer. You can drink it, but you're still responsible for it. You still need internal developers to integrate and maintain the system. And while you might save on licensing, the cost of managing security, troubleshooting, and patching can add up quickly. Okay, so let's talk about security, because that's really at the core of why we're discussing authentication. Building your own authentication can give you the ability to implement your own security protocols. But the downside is that you're responsible for getting everything right, from encryption to secure session management. You're responsible for it all. And if there's a vulnerability, it's on you to fix before bad actors exploit it. With open source solutions, security can be strong, especially with widely trusted frameworks like Auth. However, you still need a knowledgeable team to apply patches promptly and keep the system secure. There's also a risk that the open source community may be slower to respond to emerging threats than a dedicated security team. When you buy authentication, you're getting a solution built and maintained by experts whose job it is to stay ahead of these security threats. Features like multi-factor authentication, passwordless login, and compliance with security standards like GDPR and CPA are built in. Right? You don't have to worry about whether your system is secure. It's their responsibility to make sure it is. One caveat here is to think about hosting. Right? You want to make sure that the solution you choose handles your needs. For example, some solutions are SaaS only, and if you need an on-prem solution or isolated environments, you'll need to make sure you're looking at a solution that handles all of your cases with minimal changes, hopefully. Another critical factor in your decision is going to be ongoing maintenance and support. Building your own authentication means you own it, but you also own all the headaches. When things go wrong, or even when they go right, you need a team in place to handle the updates. Bug fixes, patches, and new feature requests, they need to handle it all. Every security update requires immediate attention, and that's a lot to manage. On the other hand, buying authentication gives you access to professional support. You can have a dedicated team to handle updates, the patches, and any technical issues that come up. You don't need to worry about falling behind on security or missing out on new features. The burden of maintenance is off your shoulders. With open source solutions, you can lean on the community for help, but that's not always a quick or guaranteed fix. When there's an urgent security patch needed, you'll be relying on your internal resources or hoping the community comes through in time. It's great if you have an experienced team, but if you don't, it can often turn into a bottleneck. So after looking at the options, building, buying, or using open source, the truth is only you can decide what's right for your business. Each company has a different priority, right? They have different priorities, different resources, and different needs when it comes to things like security, scalability, and maintenance. What works for one company might not be the best fit for another. That being said, there's a lot of value in learning from others who have gone through this decision-making process. Talk with the folks that have been through it, whether they built their own authentication system from scratch, bought a solution like FusionAuth, or went the open source route. Hearing their stories, challenges, and successes can give you real-world insights and help you avoid potential pitfalls. In the end, the goal is to find a solution that aligns with your business needs, fits your budget, and provides the level of security and support that you require. So what's the right choice for your business? Building your own authentication system is great, right? If you need total control, but it's expensive and time consuming. Buying a solution gives you security, scalability, and ongoing support without the hassle of maintaining it yourself. Open source solutions offer flexibility, but require in-house expertise to manage and secure. If you want to save time, reduce risk, and focus on your core business, purchasing authentication is often the best choice. So is building an amazing authentication system going to be a differentiator for your project? Are you willing to dedicate developers for an open source project so that you can control the roadmap and make the changes you want and need? Again, in general, there's an authorization product that will work best for your needs. Now, for a quick plug, because I'm most familiar with it, I'm going to use FusionAuth as an example. Right, FusionAuth is a great choice and offers many of the advantages that I've talked about here. All right, looking for a low-cost solution? We have a community edition that's free for unlimited users. Right, you might have to self-host it, and there might be some advanced features that you eventually need to pay for, but it can be free to start. Since this is a cloud-native group, it's also important to talk about deployment. Again, while we have a SaaS offering, it's important to note that you can host your own instances of FusionAuth in your own cloud. So if you need a development environment, a testing environment, production environment, etc., you can handle that. I love the question earlier about how long it takes to get your infrastructure up and running for development. FusionAuth integrates very well with CI/CD pipelines. If you need support, we can offer that too. Concerned about growth and pricing in the future? You should be, right? We have our transparent pricing available on the web. A quick note about purchasing auth and pricing. It's critical that you look at not just your current usage when you're starting out. Plan where you want to be in a year, 5 years from now. Evaluate the pricing at those levels. Often, when you're purchasing authentication, you get a really good free deal or inexpensive deal to start. You put in the time and effort to integrate, and then when you succeed, you end up paying the price because you have so many users. Make sure you know what the price will be now and in the future, and make sure it'll work for you. I'm not saying you should use FusionAuth in every case. Again, only you can decide what's right for you and your business. However, I am saying you should use a tool like FusionAuth as part of your evaluation process when determining the best authentication solution for your applications. Now, I know we had a couple questions earlier, but I want to make sure I had enough time if anyone out there has questions. I can't really see, but if you do, please feel free to speak up.
Hey, thank you very much, Mark. Round of applause, please.
What was that?
I think, can you hear me, Mark?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, I'm going to take over screen sharing again from you. There's a question here. So do you believe corporate clients truly understand the difference between core IDPs and B2C identity platforms? Is this potential lack of understanding core to issues?
Can you? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time? I'm having a hard time hearing.
Okay. Do you believe corporate clients truly understand the difference between core IDPs and B2C identity platforms? Is this potential lack of understanding core to issues? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a great understanding. I do think there is misunderstanding of which platforms work best for which circumstances. And I'll try to be, very transparent in that, like a product like ours, FusionAuth, works very well for simple, high volume cases, but we're not like a corporate identity solution. Something like Okta, like you may be familiar with. And each of these products have strengths and weaknesses, and it's important to evaluate it, like I said, for your specific business needs.
Okay, next question. An advantage of using an open source solution is that we can get a good understanding of what the product does. How would we upskill on yours?
Okay, so might need a little bit of clarification here in terms of what you mean by upscaling. So there's a couple different routes you can go, right? Like one, if you take advantage of our hosting, right, or any provider's hosting, right, they're responsible for scaling and making sure that they meet your requirements and needs and agreements. And unique thing with FusionAuth is, like I said, you can host it yourself in your own environment, and then you become responsible for it. And we have several articles on how to get our stuff up running in like the Google Cloud or AWS, their EKS or EKS Anywhere. And so then you'd become responsible for making sure that it's scaled. But the first part of that question kind of led me to think about like, oh, you can look at the code for open source and see what it's doing, which is true. And solutions like FusionAuth are not open source. So there's no 100% way to be sure what professional products are necessarily doing behind the scenes. My suggestion there would be to look for ones that have been around for a while, because if they're not doing things correctly, they won't be around for long. I hope that answers what I thought the question was. If not, let me know.
Any other questions in the room? Oh. Okay. Compared to Auth0, etc., is it significantly cheaper with FusionAuth if my user count suddenly increases significantly?
It all depends on your pricing. I know we're definitely very competitive in pricing, but it would depend on, again, your exact use cases, right? Some people have a few people logging in over a longer period of time. Some people, for example, like a football match might have fans logging in millions at a time to watch a live stream event. So that's why I say that it's important to know the pricing, make sure people are transparent about it, and ask what that's going to be specifically now and in the future. And like it's not just about pricing either, right? Make sure it's going to handle all the features you need or might need in the future.
Okay, we have a question. Have any three-letter agencies been involved with FusionAuth, i.e. the main reason for using open source? I don't know if I 100% agree with that.
I'm trying to think about our customer list and whether. Please let me get back to you on that, Cheryl. I can give you that information because I'm not 100% sure.
Can you even tell us? Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure whether I can or cannot say.
There's a question that's how big is your company and what qualifications do your engineers have? Perhaps you can answer the first part.
Yeah, so again, depends on what you mean by big. We are in the neighborhood of 100 employees now, and about 2 years ago, we find out we got a $65 million round of equity investment, and FusionAuth's been around for about 10 years, and we plan to be around for a whole lot longer than that in the future.
Fair enough. I guess that's all the questions for now. Okay, round of applause, please, for that.
Yes, and please don't hesitate to reach out. I put up my information earlier. Reach out on LinkedIn or whatever if you think of questions, and I'll do my best to answer. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, so we are now going to go to our second speaker. Kunal, please come on up.
Giving away AirPods Pro 3s. So,
They need.
I knew.
I see, I didn't stick around long enough.
You have like an HDMI or?
Oh, yeah, and mine is not deep. No. Just for the example. But I learned English from my dad. You're right. Brought up in Luton, wasn't I? Say that. Irish community. Yeah, it's true. But I did a bit of it better. Our food's amazing, but there's nothing to do like eating good vegetables. I like cheap bites. But this is the thing, I was eating a galley, just cheap. That's stuff. And I have a religion of downstairs. I've never been to that still. I've never see that. Yes, it's very funny. It used to be very sleep. In the 90s when I was growing up. Oh, I didn't know there was a council. There's a council. It's not 2012 or something. Oh, yeah, no, the first version was back up in Luton. Oh, wow. Yeah. That is, I didn't know that time. They cancelled them.
So if you can scan that, we're gonna pick my friend Martha will pick a random winner. And these are the new ones, by the way. So I don't even have these.
It's just a box.
I'm gonna get some water, but you can stand that.
They're getting rid of that next year. I'm trying to let it graphing. I quite like, it's not it's a nice balance on control. It's actually up yeah, it's generally actually, I don't even, easy to call email.
Can you hear me over there?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry if I'm not too loud, I have a sore throat, but I think it's fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want me to repeat something, just let me know. So I'm going to show this later as well. So it's fine if you haven't filled this yet. But we're going to talk about optimizing Kubernetes and moving workloads that can't be moved. So container life soft. I've muted it. Oh, it's connected to my AirPods. So, speaker, mute. Good.
Okay,
Testing,
yeah, I'm not
testing.
hearing it.
Cool. All right. Cool. Okay. So Kubernetes is easy, right? I mean, who agrees? Who doesn't agree? If you agree, raise your hands. Oh, Alex?
Yeah.
You agree? Disagree?
Yeah.
Easy? Sure? Whatever? Yes and no, because Kubernetes does orchestration really well, but because that is what it was built for. And as you can see, this is for those of you who don't know, these dots are like logos of projects in the CNCF landscape. And it's quite big, it's quite huge. And it keeps like growing and evolving. And the real challenge isn't about containers anymore. It's about how to handle all of this surrounding complexity with it. So how do you handle the zoo? Manual CLI skills, your ninja skills, or you embrace automation to make your life easier? Hands up for automation. Hands up for like CLI, like we do stuff on our own. Cool. A lot of people are like who raise their hands and like, it's 2025 and some folks still think that automation is going to take their jobs, which is quite interesting because I was speaking to someone earlier and he says that I do everything manually as well. Because this was a little ironic, said because I don't have time to automate it. So here's the thing, if you want to succeed in environments like Kubernetes, all of these virtual layers that are built to simplify complexity, you need automation. It's not like just an optional thing that you can get away with. And how many of you have used Kubernetes? Because it does offer automation as well. Yeah, it has a lot of inbuilt features, to do things the right way automatically. So you think about infrastructure autoscaling, there's horizontal and vertical. There are many other capabilities that handle optimization and scaling without you doing any manual efforts. So Kubernetes does offer, some things by default. So what does that mean? Does that mean like Kubernetes is very efficient by default? Yes, no? He's saying no. He's saying no. So it's not efficient by default. Out of the box, it gives you the flexibility, but it doesn't give you the optimization. You have to configure and tune it properly to make it truly efficient. Kubernetes is complex. That's not a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. But it's how you implement it, and that leads to the utilization. We oftentimes see clusters that are heavily underutilized. In fact, we do an annual report every year. You can find it on our website. And the data shows that only about 10% of all the CPU resources are actually being used. So around 90% of those are just being wasted. So let's look at what Kubernetes gives us to optimize. And we're going to start with the infrastructure layer. So what is actually generating cost here? When you work with Kubernetes, it doesn't really matter how much you are using, because if the infrastructure is provisioned, you are going to pay for it, right? And Kubernetes doesn't do efficient bin packing out of the box. So bin packing means like you have, let's say, some pods and you have some nodes, and Kubernetes smartly won't, let's say one of the nodes is like 80% utilized, another is like 90, another is 20. Kubernetes is not smart enough to put your workloads into the right ones, right? Out of the box. So it basically means you end up with a lot of underutilized nodes that are sitting idle, but you are still paying for it because you have requested that. So Kubernetes does offer auto-scaling tools. There's the cluster autoscaler, Carpenter. Who uses Carpenter? 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. Cool. All right. And there are many proprietary solutions as well, like CastAI. When we talk about auto-scaling, you basically, because Kubernetes is not smart enough, you need an intelligent solution that does all of these smart things for you, like bin packing workloads, constantly checking which of the pods can be better fit for a different node, right? But remember that in Kubernetes, when we talk about moving a pod, it basically means that you are terminating the pod on one node, finished on one node, and then it's going to start on the different node. And this is why you need multiple replicas and an application that can tolerate restarts. Because if you don't design for that, you are going to risk downtime. While it's moving, your application is gone. It's going to stop. It's done. And then when it comes back up again, then there's going to be a downtime while it's moving, right? So if you want to do this right, this is what the graph before optimization and after optimization look like. If you did everything right, this is what it should look like. So most autoscalers are very great at scaling out quickly, but very poor at scaling in. So what that means is you see this blue line. I don't know if you can see my arrow, but anyway, you see this blue line. This is like a lot of provisioned resources with no workload using them. So this is being wasted because you're still paying for it, just that no one is using it. What we do want is this thing right here. Strong bin packing and smart instance selection. So this yellow line is basically the actual usage of your application. And this is very close to what we have provisioned. So the gap is reduced. This gap is the money you are wasting. So if you tighten it with better packing, smarter nodes, more aggressive downscaling, if you have done, no matter what you're using, Carpenter or whatever, it's fine. This is what it should look like after optimization. But then most people are also going to ask, what sort of instance type should I use? I'm going to give you an example. Who uses AWS? So in AWS's Frankfurt region in Germany, you know how many instance types that region has? Guess.
400.
400?
700.
I think it's 400. Yeah.
For Amazonian.
I don't remember, so I'm going to take your word for it. But I know it's either 400 or 600. Still quite a lot. So, all right. 700. It's around 400 to 600, I think. But I'm going to go with 400. You seem very confident. It's like 400. So no human can keep up, in real-time view of these instances. Meaning, like, what are the prices of all these 400 instances, what are the specs, which ones are even available, which ones are not available. So they use the default safe ones and they miss out on something that might be a better fit, because going through all the 400 types, it's kind of, you can't do that manually. So you need like an intelligent system that can continuously compare the instant types, prices, the specs, and more importantly, the availability, if it's even available or not. And it also needs to match the, your CPU, your RAM requirements, GPU availability as well. It should also consider whether you want to use spot instances or on-demand instances. How many of you don't know what spot instances are? That's fine. That's fine. I don't know many things. Let's try to figure it out. So spot instances, like you get, like your virtual machines, Kubernetes clusters, and whatever on these big cloud providers. They offer these this hardware for you at like extremely big discount. They may be like, we'll give you the cluster, we'll give you the virtual machine at a 70, 80, 90% discount. But the catch is we can take it away anytime. AWS, I think, gives you a 2-minute notice. So you're going to give a heavy discount. You're going to be paying like 80% discount. But AWS, anytime they'll be like, within 2-minute notice, I'm taking it back. Azure is like 30 seconds. GCP, I don't know. But it's in the similar range. So if you're running something that cannot handle like that, so you won't run your like website's production app on the spot instance. It's going to be taken away within a 2-minute notice. It's good for other stuff that you just need like testing or whatever. And also you need a system that can rebalance automatically as your workloads change as well. So let software do the shopping, and so that you are not overpaying for the wrong machines. So if we talk about like deciding which instance type to choose, like I was mentioning, I just told you about spot instances. So on demand, reserved, or spot. So the mix, like I want to run like 50% on demand. I want to run 90% on my reserved or whatever. 10% on spot. How do you find this balance? So with reserved instances, it can be a little risky. So if your workloads are changing very frequently, so reserved instances are like you make a long-term commitment and AWS will give you a discount, right? But if your workloads change very frequently and if your usage patterns shift quite frequently, you're going to end up paying for all that capacity that you have committed to without actually being any need for it. So you're making Jeff Bezos more richer, essentially, and you're not using any commitment that you have made. On-demand instances give you the flexibility, but very expensive. The price is like the highest. So it's like the highest price. Spot instances we already spoke about. When your workloads can tolerate interruptions, they offer big discounts, 70 to 80 to 90%, but it can be taken away in a moment's notice. So the key is balancing them intelligently. Commit when we talk about reserve instances, commit only when it makes sense and take advantage of spot instances. It's very lucrative to miss out on. It's just so cheaper. So if you know how to take the right advantage, you can save a lot of money, right? So you can save money with spot, even if you put only like 10% of your fleet on spot. The challenge is still reliability, because there is no guarantee that you can keep the instance, and you need to do interruption handling. So when your pod gets interrupted, AWS is going to be like 2 minutes, your pod is gone. So what do you do when that interruption happens? You need to build a resilient app design. So multiple replicas, stateless services on spot. You keep your critical stateful workloads on the on-demand or reserved instances, so AWS doesn't take it away. And also like various policies and how do you schedule your spot instances, because if it's going to be taken away, you need some way to, a smart way to schedule it. So it saves money, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to be taking into account. Not a lot of people are aware of this. This is quite rare, but when you buy a spot instance at a certain price, that price can increase over time. Now, this is quite unrealistic, but sometimes, like it's in the worst case scenario, if you run a spot instance, let's say for 5 months, the price changes like over the time. So after 5 months, you might pay like 5 to 10 times what you were going to pay when you first bought it. So it can change, like AWS does change the pricing of the spot instances also. So all of this, at a high level is why we want intelligent infrastructure solutions, either proprietary or if you use Carpenter, then you have to do a lot of manual stuff. But we want systems that use auto scaling, not the manual node management, just that Kubernetes offers. So don't be sitting like I think I need 6 nodes in our node pool right now, and I will have monitoring and automation handle everything. So that's not going to work, because you need systems that size the cluster based on your real usage, the graph thing I showed earlier. So that's the goal: smarter auto scaling that adapts to what is happening in your environment. What about workloads? So infrastructure is great. Workloads are running on top of infrastructure that need to rely on it, and we have to take care of both the layers. So the infrastructure layer and the application layer, to make sure that both of these are aligned. Does anyone know what Kubernetes offers out of the box? HPA, PPA, horizontal pod autoscaler, and vertical pod autoscaler. Quickly, I'll mention it. As the name suggests, horizontal pod autoscaler scales it horizontally. No surprises there. So basically, it will check the load of your workload. And if the load is going to increase, it's going to add more replicas, right? So let's say when the utilization goes down, Kubernetes can remove these replicas, and that's like somewhat efficient. Vertical pod autoscaler, on the other hand, it will optimize the resources that you have requested in real time. So for example, if you just say that my pod needs only 1 CPU, that's fine. I'm going to never touch it again. In reality, the pod might need like 10% of that, like 0.1 or something like that. So the vertical pod autoscaler is going to dynamically adjust this. So the requests of your pod, it can adjust that. You can combine both of these solutions, but the Kubernetes documentation, if you check it, it warns you to be careful, because you have to make sure your configurations don't conflict. So for example, your vertical pod autoscaler might reduce the request when the horizontal pod autoscaler is going crazy, and then it's like starting 400, 500, 800 replicas. So you can use both of these together, but you have to make sure it's not, the configurations for both of these is not conflicting. So if you combine all of these solutions, you end up with a setup that is like, okay, strong bin packing. We're using what Kubernetes gives out of the box. We are going to select right instances. We spoke about that. I'm going to scale the pods both vertically and horizontally as we need it, right? So if you have the option to, let's say, run a very small cluster with a very good utilization, as you can see over there, you're saving a lot of money and you're not babysitting it. Because I don't want to babysit my cluster. I don't want to babysit my workloads. I don't want to do that. I want to focus on building stuff. So everything was awesome. We are looking good. We are done. Nice. Thanks for coming to my talk. Life is good. Not fine. Kubernetes is cool, very solid platform, but we face a lot of problems that we see in the classic world. But now we have made everything a bit more complex. So I'm going to talk about container live migration. There's a demo as well, so check it out. What does container live migration mean? So it's the ability to move the pods between nodes in the same cluster without any downtime. I told you how Kubernetes handles it. You have to move one pod from one node to another node. What it's going to do is just kill the pod, start it on the new node. I don't want to do. I don't want any interruption when that happens. So it's not like. Oh, the other thing, if you ask me, before anyone asks me, you can't move it from cluster to cluster or from on-prem to cloud. This is strictly inside one cluster. So nodes only in one cluster, right? So that's our goal. We need to get a pod off one node. We need to put it on a different node. We don't want any downtime. We don't want to restart it, is what I mean. So how does that work? We have, let's say, two nodes. Can everyone see the text inside it? Yeah. So there's this one that has pod name foo123, and it has the current IP address ending in 0.15. Oh, by the way, when I move the pod from one node to another node, the networking should remain the same. Otherwise, what's the point? It's not live migration. It says you're starting a new pod. The IP address should also remain the same. So these are the two nodes that I have, node A and node B. And I want to move this pod, so I can either trigger it manually or I can use the platform to manage it for me. So for example, I spoke about spot interruptions, like they can take away your spot instances at any time. So if a spot interruption event arrives, it will kill my pod, but I want to drain it safely and move that pod. So that pod needs to be moved on a different node. Something was running on it. I need to move it to a different node. So at Cast AI, we offer container live migration, which is quite cool. It starts by creating a shadow pod on the new node, and you're going to see the name change slightly, but the IP address remains the same. Anyone used VMware years ago? Sort of similar to that.
So you see a latency spike as you move, right?
Not as much.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's quite complicated internally. Like I'll tell you a little bit more. So we've mirrored the memory, like in vMotion. Once it's fully synchronized, the new pod can take over seamlessly. So the application continues running exactly where it left off. But now from node A, it has moved to node B. So basically, you get the ability to run smaller, more efficient clusters. You bin pack workloads very tightly, and even you can run everything on spot instances without worrying about the downtime. So literally no downtime, no interruption, no restarts either.
So did you say you copy the memory as well?
Yeah.
Like the whole state.
Yep.
There must be a latency spike,
Yeah.
right?
They must pause. There must some.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to see it in action.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to migrate a running workload, and we'll see the latency.
Yeah,
We'll do a Minecraft demo. Okay. So cool. So.
By the way, it existed before vSphere. It was called LPAR migration on mainframe and RS 6000. So it's existed for like.
That was for virtual machines.
Yeah, LPARs. Yeah.
Yeah, this is for containers.
Yeah. But it's, what I'm saying is the concept isn't a new thing. vMotion were the first guys in vSphere. vMotion wasn't the first.
I'm 26 when vMotion was around. So I love you the question. Volumes as well, but the CSI should support it. But also the other bit is that you can't migrate it to another availability zone because AWS doesn't allow to keep the same IP address if it's the different zone. And also if it's such a big volume, then it's not live migration anymore if it's taking a few hours to copy that data. Yeah. But why do we need this? Kubernetes doesn't have this built in. It treats. So when we talk to Kubernetes, Kubernetes is like, this is like high availability concern. Okay. So this should be handled at the application layer. I don't really, infrastructure layer doesn't care about it. So Kubernetes itself doesn't manage it. It's like, it's just assuming like it's your app thing. So you will handle, the restarts on your own. But this is a good slide. This is just the only slide that I have like about some of the use cases that you can, there are some of the real world use cases. Some are more quite problematic, as you can see on the screen, especially in enterprise environments, because Kubernetes is still relatively new for many organizations. And there's a lot of lift and shift that is happening. So you can see the sort of like table that I've created. There are teams that are moving from on-prem to cloud, and then they are moving from virtual machines to Kubernetes. But instead of modernizing, they just end up running a huge pod instead of like a virtual machine. So that can't scale horizontally. It's taking like a few minutes to start, and you are using Kubernetes, but you're not really getting any benefit of Kubernetes. I've seen people do this, and I'm like, why are you even using Kubernetes? You're not getting any of the advantages. It's just like another abstraction layer on top of it. So if you want to extend the spot footprint to save costs, that's where it becomes powerful. Because now, even if the cloud provider takes away your pod, you can live migrate it without downtime. And you can move one pod from one node to another node. And if you think about long running jobs, let's say 20-hour workloads that currently have to run on demand because you can't really stop them. With live migration, you can simply move them to like newer nodes if you want it as well without any interruption. I'm going to do a demo of Minecraft, but it is available on EKS. If you want to check it out, GCP coming next year, Azure, GCP coming Q4, Azure EKS coming 2026. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to live migrate a Minecraft server. Hopefully it works. So last time we did this, everyone in the room joined the game and it crashed. If that happens, I have two demos running for this Minecraft server. We need 4 people. So everyone, let's start slow. Someone just, scan the QR code, join the game. So as you can see, I have 3 nodes here. I have 3 pods running here as well. This is my Minecraft web client. Sorry if you can't see it. It won't let me like scroll down when I zoom in. So no one has joined yet. That's all right.
Try to create WebGL context. Oh, that's your iPhone.
Yeah.
I think that's hang on, just
I'll do one. But it works well, so it's like live. So anyone who plays Minecraft?
what's Minecraft?
Plays Minecraft? Why? Okay. So that's
like an IP or something.
That's running. I can jump, I can go in front. I think I'm stuck somewhere, but okay, that works. That's fine.
Yeah.
So need one more player. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is there are online minimum 3 needed, 1 player needed. I'll just scan the code.
Sorry.
Outrageous. This is not what I expected.
Betrayal.
The button I press says use player, so
I can just
be used. It's not clear how to connect.
I can do one in an incognito window.
if you go multiplayer,
Yeah.
there's just one server listed.
Yeah, and it asked me for a connect IP.
Oh,
Trying to.
Okay, I got it.
What?
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, you have to click connect on server and there's a KubeWrite server.
That was the test.
Okay, 4-player game has started working. It's gonna be working on your phone as well. So it's not gonna be, as you can see, this is like working fine. I'm gonna actually. So the way container line migration now works is as you're gonna be seeing it in the running pods here. So if I want to move it on this node, I just click, you can see it's gone orange. Check the running pod stable. As you can see, it's starting up a new one, assigns the IP address, removes the other pod. And did your game stop? You weren't playing? So let me try it again. So I'm gonna, yeah, let me try this again. Actually, let me share my screen again. Give me a second. So share screen.
Is that a spider? Oh,
So this is much better, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it to this one, which is the, do you see this one? I'm gonna move it to this node. While it's moving, I'm gonna play Minecraft. And there's gonna be no disruption. It's gonna move it live.
But it showed a no signal logo in the top left corner when you did it.
What do you mean?
In the Minecraft game, there was a 3 red blocks like no signal.
Let's check.
A brief second.
Let's try again. Yep, so that's that. Well, what I can do is to see that it's running live, I can reset it. So once I reset it, it's gonna stop my game. So that's gone. So if I reset it, it's gonna stop my game. So it was running live. But that's that. And I mean, for depending on your workload, the latency is like quite, I mean, you don't even notice this. And when you're moving data, it does it in like sequences as well. So in chunks.
What if I have like a huge container? Let's say the image is 3 gigs.
Yeah.
I'm moving it from San Francisco to Singapore, right? What happens when I'm hitting requests in my original server in San Francisco and whilst that migration is happening? Because it's not going to kill my instance over here. It's going to spin this up in the background, then flip it over. But what if I have things happening or has changed the state of my server in the meantime during that migration process? Is it like a, hey, we should just check that everything that happened can that should be now?
Yeah, good question. So if there's a, first of all, Cast AI labels all your pods that can be safely migrated. If the container line migration fails for any reason, it's just going to go back to default, which is killing that pod and starting in. Yeah, go ahead.
How does DNS work? Because you've got two
So
two servers.
Yeah, we use the AWS EKS CNI fork. So we use a forked version of that. So basically,
you detach from the IP address from one EC2 attached to the other one.
So instead of reassigning that IP address, so when you kill a pod, that IP address mask gets free and it assigns it to a different pod. We take that and we assign it to a different node, and that keeps the same IP address.
In your slide, you showed the pod had 2 pods had the same IP for a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So you must latch on some sort of event.
I think they only release the IP once they confirm the migration's been successful, because otherwise you're going to have collisions.
Yeah, because you can't have DNS can't say 2 IP addresses.
It's going to go crazy.
It will to one pod.
Yeah, it moves to the other pod. And we use a forked version of the AWS CNI. And the other bit, I forgot. What's the question? I had a good answer again.
How does DNS? My question.
We use CRDs to do this migration. So you can create the migration object yourself. So that's essentially how the migration is happening. It's a Kubernetes CRD.
What about operators? What about containers that depend on external operators? Because what's the status of containers that depend on external operators because of this migration?
That's probably where they're assessing whether or not it's suitable for live migration.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna tell you before you even migrate what pods are eligible to migrate.
What makes it?
And obviously there are a lot of objects. There are some objects that are not quite supported. Don't know the list off the top of my head, but it's in the documentation. But while I have this on,
is that side, but we're also pretty much short on time.
Oh, yeah, just one. Let's do the giveaway. Last chance. Martha, are you ready? So if you want to scan this, any other question? I'm
Yeah,
already here
there's-
as well.
There are two questions on that side.
Oh, I got it. Give me a second. I need to.
Sorry, you're cancelling that competition.
No, I got it. Give me a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
From her phone to his like.
Okay. What's this? Zoom. Share. Okay, refresh should be refresh now, Martha. All right. Share. The screen. Okay, there you go. Let's give it 30 seconds because we are short on time.
Yes, there was a question over that side. Two questions that side. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one. We actually have customers that have fully spots. All of their nodes are using spots and just completely rely on Cast AI
Yes.
production workloads.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We have some big companies using like NHS as well.
so pretty sure that so the savings, I would imagine, justify the cost of.
We have customers saving over like this is one customer saving $350,000 a year just by using Cast AI.
It depends on your workload, right? If you the availability requirements of your workload are
Yeah.
24/7, and
But-
suddenly you
But
have
what we do is because
if you have a migration event like the Ukraine thing, so we couldn't get any Azure spot resource
Yeah.
in Western Europe because it was just consumed by the Ukraine exodus. You're not going to have any spot resources. It's all going to be evicted. So you're going to have baseline reserved instantly. Right? So the latency is going to increase on your requests. But it's like it depends what your workload requirements are. But you need to be careful to meet all by seven.
if it's like a gig and you're doing 100 MB per second, it's like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. Let's wrap it up. So, thank you. Okay, so Martha, who's the winner?
I'm taking my name out. Number 27, that is Legacy. Me? Yeah, I think that's her.
All right.
Yeah, quality assurance.
Congrats.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kunal. All right, we're going to take a short break now. Let's come back at 8 o'clock. How's that talk?
I'm gonna jump on that question. Is that oh, sorry. Right. Oh, I see. Good. Yes. So I've been for everybody. That's good shot. Words to live
So I think that you're not running the book.
Right. Bias me.
Oh yeah.
So
India, Airtel,
Yeah.
Geo, Lines.
Let me get this one on my. I guess that's the.
Where you are?
Yeah.
I'll probably need to later than. So first of all, we did. We expected. It's exactly.
You have to connect with Bluetooth.
Yes, that's right. Because I was talking about the isolation of no, this makes sense. I've done this before. I've been fine. Cool. That's what I was the drunk, but you don't remember. I think you remember, it was in that bitch. I was like, cloud native in that downstairs meetup. Downstairs room. Oh.
And we saw that was one of my very rare occasions when I'm a sonman. They had already made up their mind before you did what's half or so. They already made up their minds of it. And that was quite a big challenge. My experience
This seems like a repetition. There's loads of people.
I heard you speaking that was what caught my attention. And did you notice AWS is actually changing their core architecture based around somebody's strategy.
Right.
Where they're not using, what they're doing is they're not using Zen. What is this? They're going into
Wait, I'm a video. I'm a video.
what's the graphical chips?
Basis.
For
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Have you guys ever watched me on the phone when
Hello.
Here, are they talking? Will you repeat them?
And let's
Well,
Well, if you're cheap and you don't use it.
and what you build.
It's basically a PGA and accelerated network.
The reason I came back for my great education.
That's cloud. I'm not entirely sure about container language.
Well, this is the point when I was always conference. He said, how do you like the substract for predictability? That might just be asking a email on data mining. Get out with spikes. We'll get a night.
When someone's making the decision without understanding the cost,
Yeah, that's one of the things I was telling my program manager. After this project, I told him, so I know enough of it. And the better to system, later, after like a few weeks, they never spoke of it. Yeah, probably. It's only recently, the very bare minimum. We have to write a hell of a lot of the code. What major decision? Days. So I just don't know. Tomorrow again, am I going to work? AI doesn't AI can't predict underlying commands.
That's the thing is like every 50
They need to be.
when people haven't yeah, but it's because with for instance, like, exactly, it gives enough time to put
You can always do like dry runs, rather than Amazon terminals.
One and I'll put on that with tea, very
How does it just by itself?
Yeah, so pretty much when the post it will speak for itself. And as a matter of fact, if you look on our website, it says like no, it's very much adjustable. But it's also automatic.
Yeah, I believe we were trying to get this. Yeah, I mean, it's a database. So do you have the e-pens? Thanks.
Hey, everybody. Can you sit down? We're just about to start again.
You should have taken these headphones.
All right. So now I'm really happy to welcome our third speaker of the evening, Ram. Round of applause, please.
We should have the infrastructure. Yeah. Okay, so I have my colleague with me here, Aparna. He's also my boss at home. In real life. Yeah, okay, so Meghdo. What's Meghdo? Meg. One of the oldest languages, Sanskrit. Right. Right. Meg means not rain. Cloud. So Meghdo is make cloud. Yeah. So here is our contact numbers, details, LinkedIn's. You can connect with us. Aparna, by the way, also doubles up as working in Lloyd's Bank. So yeah, okay. So we have been in the IT industry for a long time, as many of us, most about 50 years plus company experience. Been in the infrastructure side of it for quite some time now. Been building data centers, brownfield, greenfield for banks, financial services, retail, manufacturing. He has been with Lloyds Bank for quite some time now. So the entrepreneurial bug hit us very late in our life. So we thought we should also try out something interesting. So we went on a startup journey, right? So we have been about 8 months old developing this product, and we have been working with a few validation customers now. So I thank Cheryl for the opportunity. She has been very good, and she has brought in so many unicorns and leaders in technology areas, and then given them a stage to speak and show also to a lot of startups like me. And I told her that I just want to just validate our idea and the product to knowledgeable crowd like you all are. She was very happy and very considerate to give us an opportunity. So here we go. So during our experience, what we felt was that there are a lot of products. They do a lot of stuff, very good, intense, deep, but they also are all used in silos. A lot of open source tools, but they all need a lot of expertise to get them working. And also all these, access is for large enterprises. They will have a huge platform engineering teams, developers, DevOps. Most of the problems that you spoke about today, they are already been addressed by large companies. But the small and medium businesses, people who are just getting into this space, who want to get to be part of the cloud, they really need to find a way to just get around it. Resources are expensive. They are not going to come and join the small and medium businesses for unsure roles. So we had done a bit of surveys, spoke to many people. We found that this is a pain point for them. So we thought we'd just try and do something innovative on that. So what we have built an end-to-end orchestration tool that's going to be making the developers ready to start coding and then deploying it within instantaneously, not having to wait for the platform engineering team or some technical skills to come and help them out. We have made sure that we have based our entire stack on open source so that they don't have to pay for the licenses for different parts. Whatever we have done, they are also available as full suite products by paid products companies. But we thought we can just keep all of them as open source and then make it easier for people to access it. And our product works in all clouds. So we just did a bit of a market survey, research. I collected a lot of information. Some of these will be very interesting. We all always thought, cloud and DevOps is passé. Now the in thing is AI. Everybody is talking about AI. You need to have the word AI in your whatever you do, and everybody is moving towards AI. So the cloud is done. But actually, it is not so, right? About 70% of the applications have not been migrated to cloud yet. Only about 25% of the applications are containerized. A typical organization has about 200 plus applications. I'm talking about small organization. A large bank will have about 8 to 10,000 applications. They have not even scratched their containerization and moving to the cloud of about 10% or so. Various reasons. Again, oft heard words, Kubernetes, Jenkins. Jenkins is not going to be the in thing. It is going out. It's not in fashion, stuff like that. Still, it holds 44% of the market share. Right? And they are also innovating continuously. Some of the numbers, if you look at it, I'm not going to go through all the numbers. I'm just going to give you one point, right? Look at the CAGR for various areas that we talked about, right? We have listed here. Sorry?
Very small.
The numbers you couldn't.
Small. Very small.
The size,
The text.
I don't know if I can zoom it in. Okay, I can tell you. On the infrastructure automation and also on the market opportunity areas, the average is about 20% CAGR. The market is expected to grow at about 20% for the next 3 to 5 years time. Any of you know what is the GDP forecast for the end of 2025 for UK, the growth rate?
Yes. Negative.
1.1%. That's it. We might end up there, but currently it is predicted to be at 1.1%. Europe is going at Germany is 0.5, and some of the countries in Europe is going at negative. Whereas an industry here, which is expected to be growing at 20% in an average in many different, buckets, that's a big opportunity. So I want to put this to you because we need to know where we get into, right? There are multiple problems, right? There are hundreds of problems. Some of the key problems we thought that we want to address. So we focused on that. Still, the platform engineering workloads, right? The bottlenecks, right? For the engineers, they are all becoming ticketing machines, supporting everybody, solving what has already been solved. And across cloud, the same thing that they do it in a different way. So they'll have to keep on helping our teams to get going, right? The skills required to do all of those things, even if they are open source and freely available, they are not readily available. And waiting for the platform engineering team to get the environments and pipelines ready so that the developers can start developing and then testing their codes, and then time to market for the applications still is quite substantial. Very mature organizations, definitely they do have this in 1 or 2 hours, like we did the poll. But there are quite a few just struggling to get people, or imagine if somebody wants to get into cloud, they have not been before. That percentage is about 45% of the enterprise market, right? In small and medium segment, it is even more actually. They have not moved into cloud for various reasons, right? They want to just get in there, and then for them to assemble a team, for them to come and make it happen, and then just go and try it out, get a landing zone ready, and then start working. Takes a lot of time, right? So how do we solve this in Meghdo? So we have envisioned and built a niche small area, the whole problem, right? So what we do is we orchestrate the infrastructure in total, not just a cluster, completely whatever is needed for you to run an application, including the databases, security, the whole lot of things that she will talk about later as to what the product does, and the pipeline. We are able to orchestrate, and then within about 1 hour's time maximum, including the preparation time, the developers will be able to start their development, their ID, and then check it into GitHub, and then it should be able to just get deployed, and then they will be able to see it, and they can also use it for production, right? So we have made sure that we don't just do it a hatchet job. It's completely secure. Be it how we orchestrate into a customer's cloud account, or how the clusters access this services outside of the cluster, in terms of workload identity services, also who access what in what is being orchestrated, right? It's an RBAC, and we have made sure that this is available for Azure, GCP, and AWS, or for all three of them with the same templates and processes, so that you don't have to do it in a different way for a different cloud. It is very tempting to use different products. For example, if you just use Azure DevOps or Git Actions, different products. Whereas here we use open source, but we have made sure that it is homogenized. So it is cloud agnostic. Whichever cloud that you are going to be doing it, you'll be able to use the same platform, and then you'll be able to spin up. You can move from one to the other as a truly hybrid, truly multi-cloud. Yeah. So the platform as self-service in itself, in the sense that when you come and use it, you don't need to just talk to anybody to understand how to use this. You will have a complete help menu with English language query help, which will walk you through an entire journey as to how you will be able to start from scratch and build the entire orchestration. So maybe you will talk about the architecture.
Yeah. So I just want to give a brief of the architecture. So the entire package is built for you within an hour. This includes like it gives you a choice of either using a shared VPC or a standalone VPC, or and then you build in your Kubernetes clusters. Again, there's the choice of whether you want to as granular as possible, or you just want a default option. And then it builds in all the other features like STO, service cert managers, and all your MTLS authentications, the CI/CD pipelines for your monitoring with Grafana and Prometheus. It also provides you with any storage requirements, like if you want Cloud SQL Spanner or any of the buckets, then it's automatically provisioned for you. It also provides the necessary artifact registries and secret managers, as well as the scanners and stuff like that you will be able to then use within your pipelines. It gives you the ability to then once your orchestration is done, you will be able to have your application templates ready to deploy your code within an hour, and then you can see the application up and running within the hour. So it also provides all the STO templates for ingress and egress, for authentication and authorization, and it's all available for you, so you would be able to see all these your own GitHub repositories, so you'll be able to tweak and maintain those.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get to questions, so we have planned our journey in 3 stages. The one is the head start, where we currently are. We have the orchestration, CI/CD pipeline automation, and this observability stack already available with us. So we have started work on whiteboarding our agentic AI related based automation, mainly for the Jenkins AI is the dynamic pipeline to be incorporated into it. And also we are just working on a log analyzer, which will be be able to predict and provide some preventive maintenance on the orchestrated infrastructure, which is orchestrated by us with an approval workflow. And also have plans which we are too early stages for the 3rd phase of what we are trying to do. We are trying to we are in the ideation stage for building a AI-driven dependency analysis for application migration, so that we are able to build a tool that will be able to containerize monolithic or legacy applications, and so that they can be just moved to cloud. And in fact, one of the interesting things is I had just been showing around this product as it was maturing with few people in Microsoft and some partner managers, and some architects in Microsoft and GCP, not GCP, AWS. I haven't spoken to GCP yet. They've been very interested in the landing zone, as also about this application migration thing which we are going to be building. Because there is a concept which is getting very prevalent now, the Azure local and the AWS outpost, which gives the opportunity for people who are worried about a high cloud cost to have a local infrastructure that's going to be working the same way as the other cloud infrastructure is going to be. So we are aligning our application migration bits towards facilitating that, so that people will be able to easily move their containerized applications between on-prem to cloud and back and forth, depending on how they want to manage their cost. So that's about our journey. So we do have an early access program for what we have built so far, where if you want to just come and test it out and then give us a feedback, and then if you want to try it, and then if you like it, if you want to buy it, we'll be able to just go along with you on the journey, and then we can see how it works for you, and this is absolutely free of cost. And also we are kind of, because we just the two of us, we have started, we have been working for the last 8 months in building the whole stuff, and then we knew that we have kind of reached our limits. Of course, we are pursuing on this, so we also are interested in just more people coming and joining us, and particularly in the AI side of it, and also to help us with the go-to-market strategy. So if any of you are interested, you can always get in touch with me. My email ID is there back. Any questions from any of you?
You said quite often you were containerization and putting the applications from cloud, from on-premise to the cloud. Do you think it's only containerization? Because most likely it's like that we need to redesign the software architecture to make it cloud ready, only to bundle an application into a container, not really cloud.
Yeah. So 2 bits to it, right? One is what you're talking about is transformation, right?
Yeah, right.
That's the business's problem, right? I would not be getting into trying to solve the problem. It's a huge consulting piece. There are a lot of people having that play, right? If their application is not going to be as a functional application, if it is not going to be ready to containerize, right? That's something which they'll have to look into. Our bit comes into the technical dependencies. How do you map the technical dependencies? How do you wrap it and then containerize it so that it can be moved to?
I mean, like the cloud gives you way more opportunities to make a way better application.
Yes, but I wouldn't be having the bandwidth to handle that. It's an opportunity, right? It's a big opportunity. Everybody is trying to do that, small and big, right? You need to know as to what you can do, what you cannot do. So I wouldn't have the wherewithal to just go about doing that to companies trying to transform their application landscape, trying to change it. That's a pure application development piece. Many companies, in fact, I know of, this. Last year, before the 2024 election in the US, there was a day where all the aircrafts, airline companies are just shut down for a day because their, system has gone down, right? So I had one guy who was working with the federal government in the civil, Department of Transportation. So I was talking to him about this problem. He said that, that system that they're using was built 40 years ago. And nobody knows what's happening there. Nobody wants to touch it. They are worried because all the people who have actually developed that application, right? They all are dead and buried, right? And nobody knows, right? So transformation is such a challenge in different scales, right? For some people, it may be not so very complex. For some people, there is nobody to touch it. I know of some of the banks, actually, I don't want to name them, right? They have applications which are doing their business. Nobody in the bank know how it works, what's there inside it. It does the job, they just make use of it. They don't want to touch it. Right? So we don't want to get into that piece, right? It's a little low-hanging fruit or easier problem to solve is what I would like to get into. Even that is, so it's an easier problem. Why do I have to do something about it? See, even that costs a lot of resources to do it, right? If we are able to kind of automate that to an extent, and then we are able to cut down the cost, then that's good, right? That's where the value prop and the price points are.
I guess the guy's question. So if you're just going to lift and shift in a container, it's going to be more expensive, but in the cloud. Yeah. And I think that's the risk that customers might have if they sold on the journey of it's easy, we'll just wrap it in a container, stick it in the cloud, it will be, but it's going to be more expensive and less secure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Does your solution offer any solution to the multi-cloud state management? So let's say I've got a Redis cache in AWS and I want to start using GCP as well. I can't have 2 different Redis caches and load balance across the 2. So I must have some customers always going to AWS and some always to GCP. There's no reconciliation. Does your product bring that to
That's a part of the another consulting piece, right? Because we do not actually enable Redis as our part of our orchestration.
So any form of database or secret management, if I put in AWS and then it's in GCP, it's the same problem.
Yeah, I don't think at the moment we have that, we manage that, but yeah, that could be a possible feature.
If you're selling multi-cloud, if you're fully cloud native, you need to store your context somewhere.
I'll suggest you go with Aviatrix as a partner in that respect. Aviatrix.com or Aviatrix.ai. They are multi-cloud. They partner with every single hyperscaler in the world. And they provide that kind of services from a networking point of view. Yeah, they will manage that, but you don't have to write that for you. They will give you APIs. We partner with them. Business wise, I'm not the business man.
But I'll have to see if they're open source. We have a very strong, philosophy that whatever that we use for our product has to be open source. So the only cost that the customer faces for the cloud.
I'm sure if there's a commercial solution for it, maybe.
If you partner up with them, you can share it. Well, I'm not a businessman. I've used it. I'm certified on their product. And if you're operating a multi-cloud environment, they'll give you caches and the networking fabric to move applications between cloud providers and caching as well.
Yeah.
I came across them during the lockdown.
Yeah.
And that's why I knew them.
It's a really difficult problem to solve.
Yeah.
Multi-cloud. So I was just interested if you had any. So cheap problem either. No, it isn't.
We have a question on the polls. What existing solutions have inspired you?
Oh yeah, there are many. It is not that we are the next best thing after sliced bread, right? You can name a few, so there are many other products already doing this. We kind of looked at them. Nobody has been able to just give it as a self-service where a non-technical person, absolutely has no clue, can just come in and then have some basic information like how we are going to be filling up a form. They'll be able to just do that and then get their entire infrastructure in the pipeline orchestrated. So what we have done is that we have simplified the whole process where somebody who's not even a developer should be able to just come and do this, right? So yeah, existing products are there, but we are kind of finding our own niche as to how to simplify it further.
Who's your kind of target market?
Yeah,
it's small.
Not really small. Small people can't afford cloud. Let's put it that way.
Is that true?
Definitely can't.
Anyone with a credit card can use the cloud.
They can use the cloud, then they will be really sorry about it.
Is your target customer architects?
Not really. See, the buyers and the buying objections both comes from the platform, right? But the target customers, if you look at it, it's actually if you understand the real definition of small and medium businesses in the industry per se, the top 50% of the small and the bottom 50% of the medium industries are our target. In fact, I've been discussing with the AWS and they have been very interested in the landing zone side of it actually, because they are able to sell a lot of their cloud, account to many customers. After they kind of buy it, they kind of take a long time to actually just move to the cloud because they don't know how to go about making the infrastructure ready. Right? And there are many dropouts also after signing up, unless you consume resources. AWS or GCP or Azure, they don't make money. Microsoft, they don't make money, right? There is a lot of dropouts actually after they decide to get into the cloud, then actually using. So they kind of are interested in looking more into it. Actually, I'm going to India for a month and then come back, and then the other side of Christmas, they have a series of meetings lined up. So it's interesting for them as well.
I've got one last question. So you kind of build the landing zone for like GCP, etc. But is the landing zone especially just for the Kubernetes bit, or does it include? Well, so like GCP, AWS, Azure, they all have their kind of version. So
yeah.
Do you kind of follow that kind of same concept, but have an extra layer like Kubernetes?
She'll answer that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we are focusing on Kubernetes because then it is easier for to move the containers into any of the clouds as well as I think moving from cloud back into on-prem sometimes. So I think this solution is of migrating comes easier if it is Kubernetes. Yeah, currently we are focusing on
Kubernetes. If you ask, use the Kubernetes GKE, AKS, right? Azure Kubernetes services. So all of them.
To your comment, you were talking about the IaaS, like the network firewall, the WAF, the DNS load balancing that all comes, and the DNS load balancing has to be independent, right? If you're doing multi-cloud. So I guess if you're only focusing on Kubernetes, or do you apply that layer as well?
The standard of well, this is the reason why I recommended this. I'm not selling them. That's why I recommended Dietrich, because they provide all kinds of things, more environment. They're the single control plane for that kind of thing. They can monitor every single cloud instance you have.
You have a question?
Why did you go for containers as opposed to just spinning up the existing applications on VMs?
Auto scaling? Various reasons, right? Yeah.
So let's say I've got an application that runs on five computers on-prem, 8 CPUs each. Why can't I just buy the equivalent thing?
We started off as a container based solution, and I think the multi-cloud opportunity came at a later point. So I think we stuck with the Kubernetes based solution, and we built our solution around that. Yeah, so
easily transferable.
Easily transferable. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, round of applause, please. And that is it for us for this evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Be back again on the first Wednesday of every month. Different location next time. Just keep an eye on the meetup page. And if you'd like to come and have some more drinks and continue chatting, we're going to go downstairs and go to the Windsor pub just straight outside. Otherwise, thank you so much.